Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls, to Tarot Card of the Year readings. My name is Sadhana, if you're just wandering towards this channel. It's lovely to have you here. This is the 10th reading that I have done. So if you are not sure of my procedure, please go back to the first video, which was the one I did for the wheel card, the number 10 card in the tarot. And I have put all of these videos into a playlist, which is in the description box below. And for each of the readings, there's also a little prompt that you might want to write down or put in the top of your reflections if you're going to do some journaling for any of these readings. And I want to thank you all for your feedback for the readings that have happened so far. It's been really wonderful. And I was not planning on stopping on Saturday at the moon reading, but it was such a kind of deep and profound reading. I needed to just end on that beautiful, beautiful note. So here we are. This is the reading for the Sun card. And this is a lovely card to have as the card of the year. This speaks to vital life force. It speaks to love, to really optimism and all good things. And I think this will bring you out of a funk if you've been in one. It will certainly, I think, impact your year in a really positive way. The wheel card is Jupiter energy, and this is solar energy. So the only danger here would be exuberance, too much, too much exuberance. It could result in hyperbole in every way. So you want to err on the side of humility and gratitude. I think those would be, that would be a great place to start. And then really be, grateful for each little blessing as it comes your way. No reading is without its challenges, though, and so that's why I do these readings. And they've all proven to have some sort of unexpected message. So I really enjoy doing this process for you. And hi, Mary Beth, welcome. Okay. All right, so let's begin. This is the 5th day of January 2026. And this is reading for those of you with number 19 as your number, your card. And I also want to acknowledge, of course, that 19 is a 10. And so there will most definitely be messages for you in the 10th reading. And it also is a 1. And I will be doing a reading for the Magician card as well. So there's lots of readings that might have messages that speak to you, but your number 19 comes, of course, from the addition of your month of birth, day of birth to this particular year of 2026. And again, please refer to the first video for more explanation about my procedure. Now, in what pile would I expect the Sun card to be? Well, probably shining at home in the Wands pile. That would make sense. There was something really beautiful in the moon reading, the moon card reading, and that the solar card was there. So it wouldn't surprise me that the moon, the 18th arcanum, is also a part of this story. They can't be without each other. So I'm going to go on that assumption. Now, this is a really, really large pile. I'm going to go to the water pile, just thinking that the sun is here to kind of support and balance the water. This is a much more manageable group of cards. Lovely Ace of Pentacles on the bottom. The Devil is here. And Justice. This deck, by the way, is called the Lily White Tarot, and I used the Lily Black for the moon readings. Okay, Towers on the bottom. Wow, this is a juicy pile of cards. Judgment is here as well. Hanged Man, and the Sun is here. Okay, so I guess I should have just gone here. The Sun is in this pile, in its home of fire. And we have another really fiery card on the bottom of the deck. And this is, you know, transformation through fire. This is the Mars card. This is the Tower, a sense of vulnerability. And perhaps this Sun is preparation. It's the in a way, I see the Sun card as one of health, vital life force. It was one that re-energizes, perhaps even giving you courage for an impending major change that you are about to make in your life. So this may very well be a year of revitalizing how you feel energetically, physically, mentally, and emotionally. That this would be a year of restoring your health and doing special things to take good care of your health. And the reason I say that is because on the bottom of this large group of cards is a card of major life changes. Okay, you also have the 20th Arcanum in this pile, which is another major change card. However, the Sun, these cards likely won't show up in the reading, but I think it's important to know that. You also have the World in this pile. Wow. And it is on one side of the Sun, and on the other side of the Sun is another major. So the hanged man is here. Okay, so lots going on for you. So the process is to put the Sun in the center of the wheel, in the center of the circle, and then the cards that are following the Sun make up the reading. So we have, and you know, is that right? Just a second here. Yeah, these are following. So the top 10 cards here will be your reading. I don't know. I just think this is a really cool group of cards here. So you have the World and the Hanged One on either side, and this is 21 and this is 12. I definitely think that's something to note, because the World card isn't going to show up in your reading, just the way that I have arranged for this. And a great deal, you've got a lovely 6 of fire next to that one. So just sharing that information. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. Nice Ace of Wands there. And then 4, 5, 6, and I'll tell you why I turn cards over. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then we have Queen of Pentacles, and 11 and 12 is the Tower, just so you know that where that Tower was. Why do I turn cards over? Why are some cards up? I'm going to start. I like to weave my stories. And if all the cards are face up, it's very hard to unpack a story and tell a story. And that's why I like to do it this way. All right, so we have Hanged Man, 9 of Wands, and then we have Ace of Wands. It's like we have the ripeness and the fulfillment of the wands, and then a fresh start. So with the Hanged One as your first card, really important card not to rush through, and I suggested that with the card that was on the bottom, that the year of 2026, it might be a very important year for revitalization for you, working on your health and your wellness. So let's think about wheel plus sun. The sun is also going to speak to the solar system. The astrological wheel, certainly we could bring into that as well too. So this is also ego center. My hand is on my heart, but ego's I see as solar plexus. Sun, anything to do with solar plexus might also arise. So there's a lot of potential associations here, but we're going to start with this Hanged Man card. First card of a reading, always the most important card, and it's one to keep coming back to. It's a 12. 12 is also a 3, but let's read this as the Hanged One, which is water. So this is the primordial water card through Golden Dawn associations. A lovely balance to the brightness and the activity of the Sun card. This is a card of contemplation, stepping back, learning to see something through a different lens. Quite literally, changing your glasses. And I don't know. Okay, so yes, there is a connection there. Go to the optometrist. Make sure you have your eyes tested. There is a really important connection energetically between the eyes and the gut. And it's funny how this is just coming to me. So that's something that you might want to do. Perspective. So we hang upside down, perspective. We also hang upside down to move lymph through the body. Because hanging upside down, whether we simply sit in a chair and put our head between our knees, whatever degree of upside downness you can achieve, you can practice. This is really good for circulating lymphatic energy, lymphatic fluid through your body, lymph. The practice of putting your legs up the wall, or putting your legs up the backboard of your bed, or raising your legs a little bit even, is a lovely way to move this tissue and a wonderful way to end your day. We can go into cards from a lot of different angles. And so the movement of lymphatic tissue is directly connected to your immune system, to your health and wellness. And interesting that the card right next to it is often associated with fatigue. And I was talking about revitalization and taking 2026 to do that. And I think the 9 of Wands really speaks to that. And it's funny that the Hanged Man, the eyes are closed, granted, but the general direction of the head is towards the fox in the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands is also a great card for life review or year review. All 9s in general are great cards for reflection, and this reflects a full and wonderful life, that indeed you have been on path. And the Hanged Man is taking time to review that experience. It's the time to, energy moving through me, pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, I've done a lot, and hasn't it been amazing? And yet there's this drive inside you that is just ready to get going again. And so you want to pause and appreciate the fullness and the ripeness of your life, and take a moment, a few months, probably I would say, take a few months to, complete the winter in that mood of restoration and doing things for your health and for your wellness. 9, so I'm thinking 19, and 19 ends in a 9, and this is a 9. All these number Associations are definitely meaningful. And it's like you have a 19, you have a 1 and a 9 right away in your reading. So this feels good. It feels like everything's kind of in sync here. Now we have water, fire, fire. It would make sense in a solar year and a sun year that you have fiery cards, and there's probably going to be some others, but you have the full gamut of the suit, 1 to 9 of the single digit numbers. The Ace of Wands will give you an opportunity to try something anew. Probably something familiar. It's highly unlikely that it's going to be of a very different path. Think of the suit of wands as your life path, your life purpose. And we do have opportunities where we can refine that. And remember, this is not always defined by our job, by our career. And that's something really personal, important to sit with, right? Because not everyone defines themselves by their job, and it's really unfortunate that that is such a common conversation opener. Hi, how are you? What do you do? Why is that so important? Because I very well may have a career, and in my career I might do something similar, but I really feel like my life path is part of something that is what I do on the home front, or what I do Saturday and Sunday, what I do in the evenings. It may very well be an attitude as well too. Your life path can be a perspective, an attitude, learning to cultivate something, a different way of seeing your life. And interesting that the Hanged Man is here, because that is that can change everything. The way that we view our life. And so part of this is learning to step back. And you can think of this as the great winged birds that fly on high and see things from a very different perspective. This is, sort of taking a photograph of your life, a snapshot of your life, and putting it on the other side of the room and having a look at it. We want to step back. We want to step out of the personal and, scan things. So I think it's kind of cool that you have this card of reflection here in the second position. Okay, then we have water. So this is 5 of Cups. It's a really lovely 5 of Cups. You can see that there is growth already in the 2. I'm going to speak more to this card. 3 of Cups. So lots of water. Water, water, water. Fire, fire, water, water. And then we have air. This is 4 of air. So, this is another card of integration, the 4 of Wands. Okay. Where should we go? Let's talk about, so water balances fire. That is great. 5 of Cups, 3 of Cups. Odd numbers. 5 plus 3 is 8. Smaller number follows larger number. But just have a look at this 5 of Cups. What is in the 3 cups in the foreground is expired. The milk is bad. The wine has oxidized. It's just not great anymore. This is the kind of energy that isn't going to stimulate growth. What is going to stimulate growth is in those 2 full cups. And you can see that by releasing what is in the 3 cups, the growth happens in the 2. Now it's so interesting that you have the 3 of Cups that follows that. So there's a bit of a, this particular card here, you could view as almost ceremonially, intentionally releasing what is in those 3 cups. You acknowledge it, and then you let it go. The 3 of Cups is second decan of Cancer. For me, this is that summer full moon energy, and it's my full moons in the summer where I do have ceremony, fire at the beach. I mean, often we have fire restrictions and that can happen, but this is just such a wonderful time of year for me to be outside and doing my releasing work. Nevertheless, wherever you are in the world, 3 of Cups, you can see this energy in 3 of Cups. We come together, these energies come together to honor something so that we can let it go. And if you've done any full moon work, you know how important it is to both honor and release, catch and release, honor and let go. And that's what full moon ceremony is about. We do both. Because if our cup is full, always full, there's no room for anything new. And you have this invitation of newness here. Okay, so this is basically saying that, well, you can't really go anywhere until you empty the cup a little bit, because you don't have space for me. And if there's no space, where are you going to put me? How are you going to manage me? How are you going to deal with me? So let's honor these beautiful things that you have experienced and then let it go. Also, remember, hello, the more intuitive me. Namaste. Oh, it's Elizabeth. Hello. Happy New Year to you. I was looking at your picture before I actually saw your name. Welcome. So this is really, it's a very cool arrangement of cards. I also want to remind you that, and I've repeated this pretty much every reading, that this is not intended to be one, yes, I'm reading them 1, 2, 3 to 10. It's not a sequential thing, right? This is a mandala, a web of information that we weave together. It's not intended to be January, February, March, April, May. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying these are bits of information that can help you navigate all of the things that you're working with throughout the year. Approaches. Water. Okay, so the Suit of Cups is often called emotion, right? E-motion, energy in motion. And really important that you want to keep the water flowing. So this relationship between water and fire, super important here. This is going to help you create balance, health, wellness, and harmony. As I mentioned, restoration is a big theme for you this year. Okay, and if you missed the beginning of this reading, please go back and check it out, what I was saying when I looked at this whole pile of cards that these 10 were in. 4 of Swords, 4 of Air. In the tarot follows quite a challenging card where we are processing loss and grief. And 4s are about foundation. They also create sacred space. And you can think of 4 of Wands as sacred space of the mind. This is a place for peace, tranquility, restoration, all of these things. Right? So really important to carve out, and I think this just speaks so beautifully to what's going on here in the Hanged Man. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 1 and 6, first and sixth cards. Spirit doesn't want this message to get lost. It's not something that you're going to do in January, February, and then forget about it. You need to take good care of your nervous system. Now, with the Sun card as your card for 2026, like I'm saying, we can get overstimulated. It's a lot of energy, and all this overstimulation can go to kind of the shadowy side of Leo, for example. We can get very boastful. The ego can start to get a little inflated. So coming at this year from a place of humility and gratitude, will really help. And I would say those are 2 words you want to put on top of journal pages, every other journal page. How can I approach this with humility and gratitude? Okay, so kind of it's a lovely what do I want to say? It's a lovely, I think, approach to, or a strategy for navigating everything that arises this year for you. King of Cups. And another 5. Okay. So you have 2 5s. 2 5s. And 5s are going to, so the sun, with 2 5s, the sun is going to help give you the energy to navigate these sticky spots. You have the 2 receptive 5s, the 5 of water and the 5 of earth. I feel that the 5s in the center of the minor suits, between the ace and the 9, the ace and the 10, can be a really sticky spot. Sometimes we want to turn around and retreat. We want to turn around and go back. And part of this review, life review that I was speaking of, is going to help you also to find the courage to move through the energy of the 5s. Because isn't this about growth and expansion and always discovering a better version of ourselves, being open? And if you're here and you're listening to this, I know you're already doing this kind of work. And I love that this sort of shape of the heart is here for the 5 of Pentacles. And Pentacles 5, 6, 7 is Taurus. It's ruled by Venus. It's very sensual. It's very earthy, you know. It can be very seductive. But in this 5 of Pentacles, I find often we realize that, again, just like this one, we need to, for our greater good, go forward, to move on. We just can't stay where we are. And the best example I have of, well, I've got a couple examples for the 5 of Pentacles. One is you are part of a family that has traditions and ways of being that just no longer serve who you are. You love them, you know them, you appreciate them, but it really is a time for you to go off and find your own way. Maybe you are coming out of the closet. Maybe you are of a culture where your family wants you to do things in a certain way that's always been done for hundreds and thousands of years, and you're embracing something completely different. Maybe you are a tarot reader who has been scorned by their family. You know, I feel like the 5 of Pentacles in this material world, it can be really pushing you to see things in a whole new way on your journey. Now, there's this lovely sort of story that goes between the Wands and the Pentacles. Wands is life path, and Pentacles as navigating this material plane. The King of Cups is here, right? The King of Cups has seen all of this. The King of Cups has been, there and back many, many times, and can be a little sometimes detached, aloof, but they're also a great counselor. And this is part of who you are and why you will be able to navigate this, is because you've got this wisdom that comes through this king. It feels like, you could call this the master of the suit. You are fully capable of navigating this. Now, there's a lot of water here. We started with primordial water, as the Hanged One. This can also, if you know anything about astrology, this card can also be associated with Neptune, so keep that in mind, and the astrological sign of Pisces. So that's there. So you've got a water card here, water, 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 right? So lots of water. And thank God the sun is here as your card of the year. Like I said, it's really going to give you energy. Hi, Ken. Oh, that's funny. Well, it's quite a mixture of things to be watching. So this is, I think it's good. You needed the sun for your card for this year because it's going to help give you a different attitude as well about the stuff that you are working through. And I think it's really great that the Hanged One started here as your attitude check, if you will. Spirit really wants you to let go. Spirit really wants you to let go. So we have the double change card here, XX. This is the big transformation card. Okay, and I also said to you that the world was also part of your pile of cards. So there's a lot of energy around you that is initiating change. And part of this process is your willingness to go through the challenges of the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, to say to yourself that, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to cross the bridge. I'm ready to go on. I'm ready to move. It's like, it's funny, you know what came to mind? You know the like people put tin cans and noisy things behind a vehicle when just married. I don't know if people do that anymore. But in a way, you know, I know they do that for noise and whatnot, but you don't want to be dragging things behind you. You want to kind of cut your cords and skip off, you know, on your way. Another thing, I was going to say, I had a couple of other good examples. One of the most transformational Five of Pentacles for me was in the Dust to Onyx Tarot. And this was very cleverly done. There was a photograph by an Italian photographer that was taken with a boat of refugees crossing the Mediterranean Sea, going from North Africa to Europe. And when you look down at this photograph, all of those colorful clothes in that boat and the shape of the boat looks like the stained glass window that you often see in the Five of Pentacles. And the pentacles in that particular card are behind the boat on the Africa side. And it's really symbolic of all that gets left behind: tradition, language, home, all kinds of things get left behind. But in order to know our freedom, that is part of the request. And you saw that on the bottom of your large pile of cards, what card was there, right? So you're building toward a major, major change. All of this is preparation for an awakening of sorts. And I think this is really cool that you have the Hanged Man, right? And then you have this transformation card here that is going to quite literally shake you awake. Shake you awake. Preparation for that is all these little steps. All these little steps. Wow. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was in one of my Tarot Foundations 1 classes. I'm going to say many years ago. I don't know what year it was. If you feel free, you can share that. Yeah, so the preparation for awakening. And now I'm not necessarily talking about spiritual awakening, but there's this opening of perspective, seeing things in a new way, in a new light. You have to do the work in order to reap the benefits. Happy New Year, Lottie. It was 2022. Wow. Okay. And welcome to Smiley. Lovely to have you all here. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like preparation. Now you also have another card of letting go. So you can't take it all with you. This is a card of letting go. 3 of Cups is a card of letting go. 7 of Swords is a card of letting go. We need to lighten the load in order to move into. So this is also really cool. So this is Wands, right? Fire. And this is the primordial fire card. You have in your reading the primordial water card and the primordial fire card. If you want to talk planets, this is outer planets, Neptune and Pluto. But I think looking at it as the primordial fire and water cards is a pretty cool way to say that spirit is here in the background, not so subtly, helping you to wake up, open up. But in order to do that, you need to simplify your life. You need to clear your head. You need to clear all the junk out of your house, quite literally, right? You can think of your body, your temple, as your house. You can do that literally, your apartment, wherever you are. You live in your car. You're going to clear all the stuff out of all the stuff you don't need out. You need to clean your space, clear your space in preparation for this grand shift that is coming your way. None of these are bad cards. They're cards that are helping to shift and shake things up, right? It's quite literally, it's like taking having a favorite blanket and never washing it and never shaking the dust out of it. That's gross. It's disgusting. We need to clear and be in the process of cleansing all the time. And this feels like a really great year for that for you. And remember that the sun is healing. It's cleansing. It's going to make all of this a lot easier. It's going to give you the strength and the courage and the light, the energy to move through this. And maybe you will even laugh and smile and realize that these things you've been dreading aren't as difficult as you thought they were. And it's going to make you feel a whole lot better. Okay? So sit with this. And if you have questions about specific cards or connections of cards, come back, write a comment underneath. And of course, I will respond to you and expand on your question. And I want to wish you love and light and courage and focus. Keep stepping forward. Keep acting, and never think that meditation or maybe you're doing some other kind of introspective work is not doing. It's non-doing, but it's still very active. It's part of the process of this clearing out, this purification. Okay? All right. Much love to you all. Namaste.